I always say there's three parts of your life that you can focus on improving. The first is your body. This is basically, your physique, your health, going to the gym, being on a diet, all these things. The second is going to be your mind. This is like dopamine detoxing, meditation, mental health, all these things. But the third, which no one talks about on YouTube, is your soul. Your soul basically consists of two things. One, your relationship with God, and two is going to be like your purpose, your mission. Why did God put you on this earth? And that's what we're going to focus on in this video. So I remember when I was in high school, I was already like into dopamine detoxing. I was already into the gym. I was already like wrestling and stuff. I was so confused because I still felt kind of empty. And I didn't know the reason why it was because, I wasn't living towards my purpose. But I remember I was dating this girl at the time and I told her, I was like, I'm gonna try playing video games again. And she was like, no, don't do it, don't do it. And I was like, okay, I'm still gonna do it. And I played the video games. I think it was like 1 or 2 months I tried it. And it didn't fill that hole, right? Like there was some hole in my heart and it just did not fill it. And that was around the time where I realized I was like, okay, I'm gonna start making YouTube videos. I'm gonna start like trying to help people, right? And that's my purpose. I can tell that's why God put me on this earth. But it really scares me because I know so many people never hear this advice that you're gonna hear in this video. And they live a life where they're not aligned to their purpose and they still feel this emptiness. Maybe they'll work a job they don't even like for the rest of their life, like until they're in their 60s, and they never realize that it's just because that job wasn't their purpose. Like they don't even wake up and smile to work that job. So one of the big questions I want you to always ask yourself is, imagine this scenario. You wake up, right? And there's like some weird ass like glitch in the banking system and you basically have infinite money. You can buy whatever you want. You have infinite money. Oddly enough, you would still want to have some sort of mission. You would still want to do something. Like for me, when I was even like a kid, bro, I was like on TikTok and I was making like these meme videos. Like I always wanted to be a content creator. I tried streaming like this Fortnite game. Like I always tried making content. That was always my thing. But bro, your purpose can literally be anything from like an architect, software engineer, maybe you want to start some business, like a property salesman. Like your purpose can legit be anything. But one thing that influences your purpose, like kind of blinds you to be able to discover what your purpose is, what your mission is that God gave you, is going to be distractions. So distractions are going to be things like, social media like influences you to like prefer doing this over this. And it's like, oh, this makes more money, even though it's like not even as enjoyable. Or it can even be people. That's the scary thing. So all the time when I was growing up, I had these like health classes I would take in school, right? And for some reason, the way my brain works, I guess, like I would always get like 100% on every single one of these tests and these like anatomy classes, these doctor classes. Like I would always get like 100%, 100%. Like I always had like over 100% in the classes. Like I always got A pluses. And so you can imagine everyone in my life, teachers, people, like family members, they would always be like, oh my God, you're going to be an amazing doctor. Like you have to be a doctor. You got to go to college and be a doctor. And something in the back of my mind just told me, I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. That's not really my thing. So you may have some of these sort of people in your life that are like trying to influence you to do this sort of purpose. And it's not the thing that you don't want to do this thing. You don't want to be this kind of person. You need to find your own purpose. You need to literally this is what I call sitting in silence. You just sit in silence. You lay down in your bed. You look at your damn ceiling. You cut out like whatever everyone said in your life. Your whole life you've been told, like for me it was like you're gonna be a doctor. Your whole life people told you like you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. You cut out all these things that like social media has influenced you to be, and you just sit there and think and you pray honestly, like, God, what did you put me on this earth to do? Like, why am I here? What is the mission that you gave me? And this may take like weeks, bro. It may take a really long time to figure out like what your purpose is. But if you just sit down and do this practice, no distractions, your phone completely off, that's how you can find your purpose. Like I remember I did this practice without even thinking about it one time. So this is back when I was training martial arts like 6 days a week, right? And I didn't realize that I don't really enjoy martial arts that much. Like some people would rather have a worse social life and be training martial arts a lot. But for me, I would rather train twice a week, not 6 times a week, and hang out with friends more, right? Hang out with family more. That's what makes me happy. And I didn't even realize that, right? And so I was training 6 times a week, and I eventually broke my ankle, and I couldn't do shit, right? Like I couldn't even like walk and drive my car. I couldn't go to the gym. And I didn't want to just like sit in my bed and just like, scroll all day. Like I was so pissed. I didn't want to fry my dopamine. And so I just sat in silence, and I would just like think about life. Oddly, I would like sit outside. I have this swing outside, and I'll sit on it and I'll just watch the trees, and I'll see the trees move in the wind, and I'll just think about life. And then I was started thinking about martial arts. I was like, I do love training. I love training. I have to train every week, but I don't like training it like 6 times a week. And I would have this friend, and he would come home from the military every once in a while, and I would tell him, I'll be like, bro, I can't, we can't hang out. I gotta go train martial arts. I didn't even realize that I don't enjoy martial arts as much as like 6 times a week. I would rather be hanging out with friends and family. And I'm not trying to influence you to be just like me, because some people watching this may prefer that kind of life where they're training like every single day, but that's just not my thing. And I didn't realize that until I literally cut out all my distractions, and I sat in silence and just thought about life. And I just want you to realize how important this is for you. You can have like the dream physique, the 10 out of 10 aesthetic body. You can go on like a dopamine detox, kill all your insecurities, fix your dopamine levels, and that's cool. But there are so many people in this world that are so distracted. They've never done this practice where they just sit in silence and think like some old grandpa on a porch, or like some philosopher. You know how like, inventors and stuff way back then would just sit there and think in their room with their desk and their paper and their pen. They're just too distracted. They don't sit there and think, why did God put me on this earth? What is the mission that God gave me? And you can probably look at your parents, bro. That's the scary thing. You can look at your parents, and chances are they don't enjoy the job they work because it's not aligned to their purpose. They've never been told this, lesson. I'll look at my parents, and my mom loves her job. Fortunately, that is like her God-given purpose. But, I look at my father. He doesn't really enjoy his job. Every day he has to wake up and work a job he doesn't like. Maybe your parents are just like that. Our parents were never told this lesson that you were taught today of, trying to break all these distractions out of your brain. Just don't, like, filter them all out and just think like, what did God put me on this earth to do? Not what other people want me to do. What did God put me on this earth to do? Your parents were never told this lesson. So I just want you to realize how valuable this is. I want you to cherish all this knowledge that you were told. And I want you to take action on it, because you don't want to be the kind of person who lives a life where they're not even aligned to their purpose. That is scary. But yeah, man, if you want to learn more about topics like this, dopamine detox, mental health, and you want my personal one-on-one help with this, check out top link in the description for our community, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.